proud beginning to a Sunday demonstration that saw hundreds gather in Montreal to demand better access to affordable housing.
We're seeing prices go up everywhere.
This type of turnout and rentals here in Quebec are relatively inexpensive when compared to other parts of the country. According to new data from rentals.ca, the average rent in the city jumped 3.5% in the last year. The increase in Vancouver was nearly 10 times that. This single mom left BC for the lower housing prices in Montreal.
I was in school at the time. We just had our daughter, and it was impossible.
After a dip during the pandemic, rents across the country are rising again.
Vancouver rents year over year for all property types are up almost 30%. Toronto, a little over 14%.
Vancouver and Toronto remain the most expensive places to rent in Canada, but affording an apartment is getting harder almost everywhere.
There are many people who are now priced out of home ownership, who are looking to rent, and who are competing against the folks who probably couldn't have afforded to buy a house in the first place.
All over the country, supply is just not keeping up with demand. And with the price of owning a home skyrocketing in recent years, inflation denting people's wallets, the rental market has become even more competitive.
This government is definitely interested in seeing more housing supply.
Affordable housing was one of the cornerstones of this month's federal budget, the government promising $10 billion to tackle the crisis.
No matter how cheap rents are on the private market, they're never going to be cheap enough for a very large sector of the population.
Experts say rezoning for high-density development and building more subsidized housing are among the solutions. Even still, demand will likely continue to outpace supply as immigration rises and more units are turned back into short-term rentals, with international tourism making its return.
Government can make things less worse, but I think better is going to be pretty challenging.
That means protests like this one are likely to continue popping up across the country. Dan Spector, Global News, Montreal.